Hello there everybody, you're the audience, my name is Supersonic Blur and welcome back to the next episode of Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time, we pushed and pressed our witnesses to the point where it realized that, hey, magic makes it so no one has a fucking clue what was actually going on. Well, at least humans anyway. Then Luke came up with the idea, let's interrogate the parrot. So that's exactly what we've done. Their sounds, though, seem to be out of order. And that is a bit of a problem. As was said by, Barnum, this is the sound of someone crying out, the door busting open, someone screaming forward, a clang sound as something hits the floor, and then Godoor. Now, this here is a problem. Godoor is not Goldor. That is something wrong. Looking at the spells we have, Goldor. Objection. That's not Goldor. There is a critical contradiction in this testimony. We are all aware of that, Sir Blue Knight. This contradiction is between your so-called desire to find the truth and the fact that you are interrogating a parrot. That's not what I'm talking about, Inquisitor. There is a contradiction here that makes one thing particularly clear. The fact that we have clearly made a wrong assumption. How so? Luke, can you ask Cracker to repeat the incantation once more? Right you are! Godoor! Godoor! Godoor? According to the Grand Grimoire, the name of the gold transmutation spell is Goldor. Now, Inquisitor, it would seem to me that the spell we just heard is in fact a different one entirely. Well, I never. Unbelievable. Goldor and Godoor? This is ridiculous. That wretched bird must have misheard the incantation. Cracker is able to imitate sounds perfectly. The incantation was indeed misheard, but only by the people hearing it. The victim was already found in his golden state. That is proof enough that the Goldor spell was used. But you're forgetting that Cracker heard this incantation after that spell had already been taking place. Which makes it entirely possible that this Godoor spell was used as well. In other words, another spell besides the gold transmutation magic must also have been used. Another spell? Well, we haven't yet considered. Now, the next question that needs to be answered is, just what is it that what is this Godoor spell? Utter foolishness, this is absurd! As convenient as it would be for you, there is no way that spell exists by the name of Godoor. Oh, Mr. Wright! Huh? What is it? I found it! The page about the spell, Godoor! How the fuck does... It's listed in the Grand Grimoire right here. It exists? What? How is this a shock to both of them? That a spell exists that's written in the Grand Grimoire? Order! Order! I demand order! Just like I thought. Cracker remembered it exactly. But then, what kind of magic is Godoor? Well, my lord, the Grand Grimoire describes it in the following way. Godoor creates a portal on two sides of green-coloured walls. The portal will disappear after 5 minutes. Creates a portal? On green-coloured walls? A portal spell? Okay. Aren't you a lucky man? It appears even the Grand Grimoire is on your side. However, there is a new fatal flaw in your explanation. Huh? What? What flaw is that, Inquisitor? It is really quite simple. Think back to how the alchemist's study looked at the time of the incident. Do you remember any green walls? Because I do not. There were none. All the walls were coated with white plaster. In other words, it was impossible to use Godoor in that room. I too have visited that alchemist's study since the incident. I remember very well that all the walls in that room were a dull shade of white. Your little theory was interesting, Sir Knight in Blue, but it has proven to be nothing more than that, a mere wild guess. As long as you cannot prove that this is Godoor's spell was used, your little theory shall be considered no further. But in all honesty, I was very surprised to learn of such a spell's existence. However, as long as it was impossible to have used that spell in this crime scene, your deduction leads us nowhere. So, let me ask you now. Yes, Your Honor? Do you, perchance, have any proof that you could show us? Can you prove that it was feasible for the witch to have used Godoor in that room? This is no coincidence. That spell must have been used at the crime scene. But do I have the proof that it is even possible to use Godoor? Or Godoor? Naturally, I have proof. It's been on my mind for a while. That inexplicable mark. It has to be the evidence that ties all the loose ends. The defense wishes to present evidence. Impossible. The determination in your eyes made me think you would. Now then, we shall allow the defense to present its evidence to the court. Present the proof that the spell Godoor was used at the scene of the crime. Very well. We have behind the painting. The walls in the study are coated in white plaster. Not all of them, though. There is just one spot which is green. Oh, there is. I noticed it when investigating the crime scene. You may recall that there was a small painting behind the desk. And, for some reason, the wall behind it was painted green. It was what? I recall seeing that painting myself, too. If we look at this floor plan, I'd say it was around here. Mr. Wright, I'll mark it on the floor plan. Thank you. It's been bothering me since I saw it, but now it's clear what it was. At the time of the incident, a portal opened up behind that painting. In other words, that was the wall utilized for the spell Godoor. It seems to be. You're certainly persistent. You just want a portal to be there so much, don't you? The wall behind the painting was green, and that's a fact. Incidentally, I remember that painting well. It was a small landscape piece. How did you get that book? About the size of, say, an open Grand Grimoire. Yes, it was about that size indeed. A small, adorable picture. Even if a portal had opened in that small patch of green, no person would be able to pass through it. In fact, they'd just about be able to put their arms through at most. So, will you please explain how a witch could possibly have escaped through a portal that small? He's right, Mr. Wright. No one could go through a portal that small. Have you anything to say? Or are you so crushed by the realization of your mistake that words fail you? The portal was too small for a person. It doesn't require much thinking to figure that out. But that aside, a very obvious question remains. If it wasn't a human, then what could have passed through that portal? You put an interesting spin on things. Why don't you answer your own question? You talk as if you know everything, so please enlighten us. A small portal was opened in the wall of the crime scene, and I have all the clues as to what that could mean. What went through the portal was... It wasn't the witch. It wasn't a small animal that still creates Somalia. It must be something else. No human could pass through a portal that small. Even a witch couldn't have pulled that off. So you are finally forsaking your mistaken assumptions? I haven't finished yet, Inquisitor. The fact remains that something else could have passed through that portal. No? And just what would that be, Sir Blue Knight? The portal was created after the Professor had been turned to gold. The witch had a good reason behind that. She must have had to move something through that portal. You have captured my curiosity. I'd like to know what passed through the portal. Tell us, what did the witch use that magic portal for? The Telea Magica. Consider the state of the crime scene. There is just one possible answer. And that is... the Telea Magica. Objection. What? What is this now? The Telea Magica was found at the crime scene. A portal had nothing to do with it. Objection. Inquisitor Barnum, you're making the wrong assumption. Wrong assumption? The witch wasn't trying to remove evidence from the crime scene. She wanted to plant it. She threw the witch's scepter into the room through that portal. You and your crazy theories. Do you even realize what you're saying? If she threw the staff into the room, that means... Exactly. She did it to deceive us. Her goal was to make us draw the wrong conclusions. When the incident took place, the witch herself wasn't in the room. She cast the spell from outside. What? Order! Order! Order, I say! And that's not all. There's even more proof that the staff was thrown into the room from the outside. What proof? The proof is none other than the Professor Layton's previously severed right arm. The victim's arm? How does that prove anything? None of the witnesses have testified they saw the witch's scepter. However, a few of them claim to have heard it rattling across the floor. That's right. Please take a look at this floor plan. Since the arm was standing upright there, we know the defendant could have been the one that dropped the scepter. Now think about it. Where would you need to drop the scepter from in order for it to end up here? Oh. That's right. The scepter could only have come from the small portal created by the spell Godoor. Godoor, I mean, not Goldor. Even I'm doing it now. This is most unexpected. The witch wasn't in the room when the crime occurred. Or at least, that's the defense's claim. It's the only thing that explains all of the contradictions we've run into. But there's one that stands now because of it. Sir Blue Knight, with that imagination of yours, you could aspire to write fantasy stories. A nice try, I must admit. However, this line of assertion is futile. There is a glaring contradiction in your words. Another contradiction? Whatever are you referring to, Inquisitor Barnum? This is the Telea Magica that was used in this incident. As we have established, there are 2 magic gems in it. One for the gold transmutation spell Goldor, and one for the shadow familiar spell Familia. A witch in possession of this staff would not be able to cast Godoor. Yes, you're absolutely right. But you cannot write off all the evidence supporting my theory as mere coincidence. Why must your agreement always be followed by a but? What I'm getting at is this. This Telea Magica. It's not genuine. Not genuine? That's right. And naturally, the one responsible for this deception is the real culprit of the crime. Enough of the suspense. It's too much for a man of my age. The defense shall reveal what is meant by the so-called deception. Well, let's look at it this way. We know Godoor has to be real. Therefore, this must be fake. First, I want to clarify one thing. Can we be certain that the Telea Magica in question is authentic? Without a doubt. The metal rod in this center is called the Spina Magica. The witch's mark is on its tip. It's clearly visible and highly detailed. It is impossible to forge, even by the finest craftsman in all of Labyrinthia. I can guarantee you its authenticity. That leaves us with only one possibility. The forgery in question is the Familia magic gem. What? A forged magic gem?
Objection.
That is an insult to our investigators.
Objection.
Only witches can use the power of these magic gems, can't they? So tell me, how can you know whether a magic gem is the real thing or not?
Objection.
Hold it right there. We know for certain that the spell Godoor was used. It is undoubtedly not forged. But what about Familia? Does anyone actually see a familiar at the crime scene? That's... 3 months ago, when an investigation was carried out into Sir Belduke's death, the results yielded the following conclusion. The spell Familia had been used to summon a familiar, which in turn carried out the murder. And the witch used exactly that to her advantage. Another similar incident at the same crime scene. Don't you think that would be the perfect opportunity for the witch to frame the defendant for her crimes? The defendant would be blamed for both the professor and Sir Belduke's deaths, and she would be taken for the real witch. Oh! That was the real culprit's objective. There is a chapter in the Magic Archive, an old collection of tales of the occult, about the way to test whether or not a magic gem is genuine. How can we test it, my lord? It is very simple. A genuine magic gem is composed of a mineral with a density lower than that of pure water. All you need to do is see if the magic gem floats on water. That is simple indeed. All non-magical minerals in our world, with the exception of sepulite and a few other special kinds, sink in water. These eerily sparkling magic gems, however, will never sink when put into water. Bailiff, remove this magic gem for immediate examination. The magic gems are fake? What's up with this trial? This is not how it's supposed to be. It's all right, darling. Don't cry. You'll get to see a witch burn today. Sir Barnum never disappoints. Hush now. Hush there. There. Defender, if your theory is correct, this could be the biggest occult crime in history. But another important question remains. I wonder if you can answer it. Who is this supposed real witch that threw the Telea Magica through the portal? The real witch? There's only one person that comes to mind. Frankly, I still find it hard to believe, but it's the only possibility. Once I indict her, there'll be no turning back. Knowing the consequences, should I give them her name? Mr. Wright? In Labyrinthia, witches are punished by fire. I know you think that's going too far, but even in a world that may seem so insane to you, those who take the lives of others must be punished. That is a universal law, isn't it? The witch turned the professor into a golden statue. And that's not all. She took the life of the alchemist too, and now she's trying to pin the whole thing on Maya. I can't let her just get away with that. Well then, defense, let us hear your theory. Who is this witch responsible for using Godoor and then throwing the scepter through the portal? Yes. There's only one possible person here. When you've eliminated all the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. There's only one logical possibility that it has to be this person. The real witch is Jean Grail. Grail? I've heard that name somewhere. Wait, isn't that the butler who served Sir Belduke? That's correct. Pish, what's this about? You seem to love rolling out these ridiculous suggestions, but you'll ignore the obvious. Jean Grail is male. Oh boy. Yeah. 9 years ago, we still had that fun thing about how, hey, let's have someone pretend to be a boy or a girl, and then actually they're not. You can be male feminine presenting, or feminine masculine presenting, or neither. Androgynous or non-binary male presenting, non-binary female presenting. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now. It's a little dated. So, yeah. It is only females who can be witches. Is it only females who can be witches? Are you daft? Of course it's only females. Never in the history of this court has there ever been a male witch. The only person who produces any kind of magic that is male is the storyteller, and he cannot be a witch. You're so utterly ignorant. You should be ashamed of yourself. Alright, well, I'd like to ask another question. Is Jean Grail really a male? What? What a ludicrous question. The defense is certain that Jean Grail is the witch responsible for using magic on Professor Layton. But yeah, it's, this bit's a bit iffy, similar to some other things. This is an old, I don't want to say a trope, but something that's been, is quite common in puzzles or mysteries or detective games. Someone is not who they appear to be. And as someone non-binary themselves, it's a bit shitty. Not gonna lie. Will you stop fooling around? This is a groundless accusation. Groundless, you say? I'm afraid that's where you're wrong. At the time of the crime, Jean Grail was in the room next to the alchemist's study. And one of the walls in that very room was painted green. It was? It's more than that green wall. What's more, that green wall was the one adjacent to Sir Belduke's study. What? This is madness. Inquisitor Barnum, quickly, have the butler summoned to this court. Have Jean Grail brought here immediately. Certainly, my lord. It shall be done.
There is no need for that. I am here. I shall come down right away.
Everyone's always up in that one spot. It would have been nice if they just flipped it sometime. Ah, it is you.
Well then, Mr. Wright, shall we begin?
Let's. Jean Grail. It would seem this trial has turned in a new direction. I think we need a bit of time to take it in. Shall we take a brief intermission? Inquisition, defense, sharpen your swords, and wit to prepare yourselves for the next stage of this battle. Yes, Your Honor. It shall be done, my lord. By the time we resume, the examination into the magic gem should have ended as well. Now, the court is adjourned for a brief intermission. And I think that will do for a wonderful place to go ahead and end off this video. Next time, we will now be questioning on forward with Jean Grail. We have at least a hook in further forward into the next episode, but that is for then. As for now, I'm going to end things off here. If you have enjoyed this video, do be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more, and to share this stuff so people know that it exists. My name has been Supersonic Blur. You guys have been a fantastic audience, and I shall see you all next time.